So right now we are at Apple Greens. I'm Ryan Skidington. This is my oldest son, Christopher.
Starting already.
Apple Greens Golf Course is in Highland Falls, a 45-minute drive from Woodbury, my hometown. I had flown in 2 nights before from Jupiter, Florida to visit family and friends. It was a beautiful afternoon. The sun was shining and conditions were optimal for late spring in New York.
Course 1 and 2, and we are about to play the match on the back 9. We're all hooked up, we're all mic'd up, we're ready to go.
We got the no bell going.
And it's not
so
going to be friendly.
I had known that Chris had just started playing, but he had been getting lessons and had a good amount of talent.
Over the top
the minute he bargained for 6 shots, I began to feel uneasy. To make things worse, Skiv had just took a job in medical device sales, and this had several negative effects on his game.
You want to do stroke and every but par 3s?
So you want 7? So let's do 6 then.
Up until this point, I had never seen a robbery with my own eyes. When both players agreed to the deal, I pinched myself to see if I was still conscious. Had I come to witness a massacre? I felt no loyalty to either opponent. Recently, it has dawned on me that had I stepped up and raised my voice, the outcome may have been very different. Skiv was deep in his process, and he was fired up. If he had any doubt, he never showed it publicly. You had to tip your cap to his self-belief, even if it was delusional.
Take us out, Chris. Shot's yours. Listen, I'm getting a little caught up in the glitz and the glam here. You know, first time wearing a mic and stuff like that, so I'm a little rattled. That explains the slow start, but I'll bounce back, I guarantee you that.
He's f***ed, I thought. He's gonna end up like Stephen Ames.
That was a little bit of fun out there.
Chris began the mind games early, which put Skiv back into a corner. His first tee shot was in the water, and he was off to a bad start. A part of me felt for the kid. The last time he played a match was 5 months ago, and it wasn't pretty, but Maiaku Lakes is a damned place. Chris had only been playing golf a few years, but to take 6 strokes on a 9-hole match was a crime against the integrity of the sport. He was a schemer. I have never met a man so bent on getting his way, not only in sport, but on anything that he set his mind to. It was not good content to have such a lopsided affair, so Skiv called out a press and doubled the stakes, and I kept the cameras rolling.
If we're down 3 with 6 to play, I'm coming with a hot press. We're going to see if he accepts it or what. But the stakes could get pretty high pretty quick.
I had first encountered Ryan's degenerate gambling tendencies in my basement where there was a pool table. The kid was a menace. He would increase the bet whenever he lost. That was his strategy. He figured he was due for a win eventually. Needless to say, his decision to press hadn't caught me off guard. Chris licked his chops, and I was praying for something irrational to happen.
They do say no laying up. If you lay up, you're a pussy, but I'm going to take the pussy route right now.
It was around that time where I began to see things that put my religious beliefs into question. Skiv resurrected from the ashes and was clawing his way back to all square. The air on the course became thin. Chris was struggling to breathe. We drove our carts to the 18th tee, nervous and excited and talking amongst ourselves about the way that this had unfolded. It would come down to the final hole. Before any shots were hit, we went over what was at stake. I threw a new battery in to combat the horror of the camera dying on an epic moment. The 18th at Apple Greens isn't a template hole, and it surely won't ever be featured on Andy Johnson's American Public sub 400-yard Dream 18 list, but it was drivable from the ladies' tees, which made things interesting. I was snapped out of my own thoughts with the sound of Chris's drive and saw his tee ball fall into good position up by the green. Skiv retaliated with a good shot of his own. When I got up to their approach shots, I found that Chris had quite a good angle in, 30 yards and straight forward. Skiv was further up, but he was elevated high above the putting surface. Chris hit it up there to 20 feet, which was pretty good for him. Now it was time for Skiv to respond. His second shot came up woefully short, meaning that he would be playing the rest of the hole for par. At this range, a make was not likely. Chris had a decent short game and hadn't made any alarming errors throughout the round, but a 20-footer for the win was something different. Most of the time, these type of putts wouldn't hit the hole, but all throughout the day we lacked a dramatic moment. My fingers were crossed for the sake of good content.
Knocks down the birdie.
Come on! Big putt!
Big birdie. Nice putt.
You know what it is? He's right there on his first drive. You drive for show, but you putt for dough. Come on.
Let me finish.
Yes, sir. That's a great match.
The sound of Chris's cheers rang throughout the course, drifting across the parking lot and into the town. Skiv had heard those cheers before, and he was very familiar with them. The sound of defeat, the sound of humiliation, but faintly in the distance, the sound of future sweet revenge.